Hi guys, it's me Trent. Excuse me looking tired. It's 4 a.m. and I have a really bad sleep schedule. So, I wanted to start a new series on my channel where I review a book series. I've never really done this before. And it's about the series called Seniors by R.L. Stine. It's a Fear Street series. And the basic premise of it is it's 12 books and it follows the senior class of like 1998 into 1999 for 12 months, so like for every single month of their senior year. So this one would take place in July. I want to do like one of these book reviews like every month, but since I'm behind, I may try and do like the first three books this month because like September is like to book three. So the basic premise of this first book is that there's this girl named Josie and her asshole teacher keeps giving her bad grades and she's like, oh my god. And so she goes to this girl's house that she's friends with, and this girl is kind of like she's like a part of a family that is like really cursed. She's a fear, which yeah, Fear Street. So she has like this library full of like cursed books, and so Josie decides to cast a spell on this teacher named Mr. Torkelson. Weird name. Um, and it's like a doom spell. And she's like, oh, this is just like a joke. And she also casts a spell on this girl named Marla Newman. And Marla Newman is the valedictorian, and she's kind of a bitch, but she's also like funny at the same time. And unfortunately for Josie, the teacher that she'd cast that doom spell on dies like in a car accident and gets his hand like severed. It's really fucked. And what else? There's also this character named Clark in these books. People call him Count Clarkula. And this one guy thinks he's a vampire. I suck at explaining things. I'm so sorry. But basically everyone thinks he's a vampire because he, I don't know, he just acts like a vampire. He acts really weird. Like he had these like fangs. He had a cape. He like had his mouth towards a girl's neck, and he was like kissing her, but it looked really shady. And we do find out later on in the end of this book why he had those things. But this one main dude is like convinced that this guy named Clark is a vampire. Also, the reason this dude's like so obsessed with Clark is because okay, so the dude, his name is Josh, and he has a girlfriend named Deborah. And Deborah starts kind of like going out with Clark, and a lot of people don't like him because they think he's a vampire, like as a joke. And that is like, I've read a bunch of these, but I want to read them in order because I recently got like the rest of the ones I didn't have. So that's a recurring thing throughout the series is Clark being a vampire, like people theorizing about that and like kind of bullying him for it. So that happens, and the girl named Josie, who set the curse, is like freaking out. And at the very end of the book, like during the climax, they're at this party at the rich girl's house. Her name is Trisha Conrad. And so they go to her party, and like everything's fun and games. And basically what Trisha does is she decides to make a murder game. Even though in the book when you're reading it, it does not seem like it's a murder game. It seems real. But she's like, oh, well, like, draw cards, and some of y'all will be the investigator, some of y'all will be, like, possible killers, and Marla Newman was the victim. And so Marla fakes her death, and this one guy named, what the hell, Mickey, his name is Mickey. He pretended to be the killer, and everyone thought it was real, and they were freaking out, and it was like storming, and the phones were out and stuff. It was funny. And then they're like, "Ha, it was a joke." And then at the very end of the book, this like entity that has like snake eyes and has like a rotting skull, basically comes to the party and kills everyone. And that part is real, and Josie's like freaking out. So I'm going to discuss the deaths because that's like a very big part of the senior series is the characters dying throughout their senior year because of this doom spell that Josie cast, because it wasn't just like a teacher thing, like it wound up accidentally cursing her entire senior class. So we obviously had the teacher that got crushed in a car accident. That one was real. The rest of these the rest of these deaths I'm about to list, they wind up getting reversed in the end of the book because Josie manages to cast like a time spell and it reverses the events of like this party. So like these characters are still alive in the story. So first we have this guy named Gary. He's thrown into a wall. this Trisha, the main mean girl, she gets her ear ripped off, and she's also scalped. Like, it's really violent. She gets scalped. And then Marla, the bitchy valedictorian girl, is punched through her chest by the demon. Phoebe Yamura, she's the head cheerleader. She gets her head twisted off. And then there's these two girls. Okay, here's the thing. There's this girl named Deidre or Deirdre. I don't know. It gets on my nerves though, because like her name is constantly like, okay, so in the front of the book, there's like a little yearbook thing with like all the characters and stuff. And usually in later books, we're going to see some of these people like get their names blurred out or their faces because they die. But it's spelled differently in the yearbook than the actual book. So we're just going to say Deidre. So this girl named Deidre and this girl named Jennifer, which Jennifer is the one who has the library of like evil curse books. They get their heads smashed together. And then this guy named Josh, which is actually like the dude who was obsessed with Clark and seeing if he was a vampire, he gets his arms ripped off. And so Josie and Josh are step siblings. So she freaks out and goes to Jennifer's house and does this time spell and reverses everything. So I would rate this book a 4 out of 5. And the only thing about this series is it's really good, but they're also really hard to come by. And there's definitely a lot of things I would change about this series. Like it's cool because it's like 90s horror. But I thought it would have been cool if the deaths, not to spoil anything, but if the deaths in the book, like during that scene where everyone's like getting murdered by the evil spirit, if it like mirrored their deaths later on, like it could be like someone getting their head twisted off and then in their future death they get decapitated. Like that would have been really cool. But also these are extremely rare. Like I had to spend hundreds of dollars just to get all of these. Like I have books 11 and 12 coming in soon, hopefully. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more of these seniors videos. I'm going to try and get 2 more out this month, and then it'll be like a monthly thing. So, bye. Mwah. Subscribe.